A year ago, I unboxed my dream vlogging setup in this same channel. A setup that I was really looking forward to test. And here we are, a year later, after many trips, many shoots, to figure out if this is the best vlogging setup to date.
Thought pink polos I hurt the rock before Cam got the shit to pop. The doors is closed. I felt like bad boy street team. I couldn't work the locks. Now let's go. Take them back to the plan.
Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mark, a content creator who has been shooting professionally for the last 6 years. In this channel, we talk about cameras, how to get better at filmmaking, traveling, and much more. If this is something you like, please consider subscribing because I want to reach 5,000 subs before the end of 2026. Welcome to the family. In this video, we're gonna talk about the vlogging setup that I've been using during this last year. A setup that has been in many different scenarios. From trips to California, Japan, Korea, to professional gigs like working with a millionaire, and also working for Dubai's government, and also to capture my daily life in Dubai, which I would say is plenty of different scenarios, right? And actually pretty cool scenarios, I would say. I can definitely say that I put this camera to the test, but does it still hold up in 2026? First, let me show you all the pieces from this kit, and then we'll talk about my honest review or my honest take. Let's get into it. Let's start with the main part of the setup, the camera body. I'm using the Sony ZV-E1. This camera is super compact and light. If you compare it with my main body, the A7S III, you could say that it's half the price, half the size, half the weight. First, the A7S III, it's 1.5 kilos E1, almost half the weight. You can fit it in any bag and it doesn't take any space. It is super forgiving when you're using it handheld, so you can hold for longer days of shooting. The image quality is incredible. It literally shares the same sensor with the A7S III and the FX3, so you can already imagine the quality that this camera outputs, right? It can do 4K 50, 4K 25. I cannot ask for better image quality. Now we need to talk about the colors. This camera can shoot in S-Log 3, can shoot in 10-bit, 4:2. If that sounds like Chinese for you, basically it gives you a ton of color depth, a lot of data on the video. So it means that whenever you want to color grade these clips, you have a ton of data to play with. And I would say the colors I'm able to achieve with this camera are quite cool. By the way, if you want me to drop a tutorial on how to color grade S-Log 3, put it in the comments and we will talk about it. Maybe, maybe not. It depends on you. So drop your comment. Next, we need to talk about the low light capabilities of this camera. This camera has dual base ISO at 640 and then it resets again at 12,800, which means that you can have a ton of light with no noise. Fun fact, whenever you're using this camera during the night and you go to the second base ISO with a fast lens, for example, a 35 1.4, the camera can see more than your own eyes at low light, which I find that very interesting. It's crazy. Let's actually do a test. Okay, so this is the setup I'm using to shoot this video, which is the A7S III and then a key light just so I can look better. But I want to show you something. Let's go to my walk-in closet, because if we come here, you see, we close the door. Now we are in full darkness. Let me boost the ISO for you. We're gonna do this live. Up, 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 up. There's a ton of noise right now. I am at 10,000 ISO. Let's jump into 12,000. Boom. The noise clears. So from pure darkness, which we don't have any light right now, you can see me a little bit. We can even push the ISO 102,000 and now you can see very good, but it should be a lot of, but there's not that much noise. This is insane. The low light came. Now we put it back to 600. There's nothing. There's no light. We open the door. We have light. Also, we gotta talk about the overheating problem that this camera had. Honestly, after trying it a lot, I think they have upgraded the camera through firmware updates. And honestly, I cannot even overheat this camera. I overheated once, and it was because I was shooting a vlog inside of a sauna. I think it makes sense that it overheats over there, right? I don't want to go in depth with these details because I will actually create a proper video for the ZV-E1, like an independent video for the camera, because I'm also planning to do an independent video for each part of this setup. Go into the description and check if the video is already uploaded, which I think it is. All right, now we gotta talk about the next part of the setup, the lens. This is the Sony 60mm 1.8G, and as you can see, it's pretty light and compact, same as the body. And you think that's a coincidence? No, my friend. For me, 60mm is the perfect focal length for vlogging. Hear me out, whenever you're doing a vlog, you have to be thinking on creating an immersive experience. You want your viewer to feel like they're going with you to that place. So 60mm gives you enough whiteness to see all that's surrounding the area. And also, because of the size, it is perfect for handheld vlogging. Your hand is not gonna fall apart after an hour of shooting with this one and with the ZV-E1 because they are so light. We gotta talk about the bokeh. Since this lens is f1.8, everything behind you whenever you are in focus and close to the lens is gonna be blurred. Can you see like this? Like this little lamp over there is a little bit blurred, but if I go back, now it's more in focus. But if I get closer, it's blurry again. This lens does the same, but better because it's 1.8. I'm using a 2.8 over there. Also, whenever you hold something close to the camera, it's gonna blur the background, just like this. I am super blurry now, and you can see the lens perfectly. Whenever you drop it, it's gonna focus on your head. You know what? I have 3 more lenses that I would love to show you that I normally use for vlogging, but that's gonna be for another video. My best favorite 4 lenses for vlogging. I hope you're ready for that one, because it's gonna be cool. The link might be there or there. Have a look, maybe you find it. Now we gotta talk about this little thing that is sitting up there on top of the camera. It is the mic. I'm using the Sony ECM-M1, and this mic is special for many things, but let me explain you why. This little piece of tech is not as famous as it should be because it's awesome. It's super compact and light. It doesn't use battery because it just get connected to the camera and it sucks the battery from the camera, so you don't have to worry about running out of battery. You don't have to connect a cable from the mic to the camera because it uses these little pins straight to the hot shoe. It means simplicity to the finest. You can get amazing audio quality without thinking about it. Yeah, you can go with the internal mic of the camera, but whenever you're using this one, oh my god, it's another level. It's time to talk about the tripod, and this one is actually cooler than I thought. It is the Ulanzi TT38, and it is a handheld tripod that with the click of a little button, it transforms into a tripod. It has a swivelable head, so you can point your camera in any direction you want, and it also has another different feature that I will cover on its main YouTube video. You know how it works. It is light, it's durable, and the only complaint I have with it is the rubber part. This rubber part in the handle, it's getting like sticky. Whenever you hold it for a sec, it's getting sticky in your hand. Okay, that's not the end of the world, you know? Oh my god, guys, I'm bulking, and now I need to drink this smoothie that I made with honey, oats, protein, creatine, milk. It has everything in it. It's 900 calories, and I need to chug it all. I'm not even hungry, but I need to do it. This one's for you guys. I need to get huge. Alright, let's continue with the video. Alright, now that you know all the parts from this kit, I think it's time to talk about my honest review after 1 year of use. After thousands of shots, and in the most demanding gigs I've ever done, this is my honest take on it. Long story short, I wouldn't change a single part of it because the camera is amazing, the lens is super useful and nice image quality. The microphone is incredible and there's nothing better than this. The tripod is super useful, super handy, and it allows me to create stuff that I wasn't able to create before when I was holding the camera by it myself. But I have a but. I don't know if I am the only one in this, but I'm always in doubt about the lens that I should use because there's so many different lenses on the market. There's so many different creators using different lenses that when I see a vlog from other creator, for example from Gaku, from Tatsuki, or from Peacegates, whenever I see their vlogs, it's like, oh, what is the lens they're using? It looks quite good. Yeah, what if I choose the 24 1.4? What if I choose this super cool lens that they have that is f4 that has like a vignette? You know, there's so many different alternatives that I'm always in a doubt if mine is better or theirs is better. I think you have to be proud of what you have. You have to learn to use what you already have, turning that part of yourself off that wants to buy every single piece of gear. The 16mm 1.8 is awesome, and I think I will keep vlogging with that one. Then I also have my doubts with the camera, because when I was about to build my setup, I was like, should I get the ZV-E1, which is video-centric camera, or should I get the A7C II, which is also a super compact camera but hybrid? It's basically an A7 IV in a smaller body. That means it has good video features, and good photo features. Mine is lacking photo. Should I trade the dual base ISO that the ZV-E1 has for the better capabilities on photos for the A7C II? I don't know. You always have to compromise on something, right? But for me, since I'm a filmmaker, the ZV-E1 makes much more sense because I could use it as a B cam with the A7S III that I have. I'm happy with what I have, and I need to stop thinking about other options because yeah, I'm about to get crazy, you know? Well, that was a lot of words, and I am not an English speaker as you can imagine, so my brain it's on flames right now. Give me a break, guys. Oh my god. Does this setup hold up to 2026? Absolutely yes. There's no better option, there's no better anything else from this setup. I think we have the best of the best. So if you are thinking on buying anything in particular from this setup to add it to your collection, I think you will be more than happy whenever you get it. So trust Daddy Marc, this setup works. I think you've seen it on the B-roll from this video. That will be my 1-year verdict on this awesome setup. Remember, every single piece from this setup is gonna have a dedicated YouTube video, so if you're interested on any of that, you will have the links in the description. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm actually interested, guys. What are you shooting on? What is the camera you're using on your daily basis? Just drop your comments. Come on, I'm always reading. I want to know. If you got value from this video, don't leave just yet, because YouTube is about to recommend that cool video that is suited for you. Just click and check it out. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, don't forget to follow, and see you on the next one. Peace. Back when they thought pink polos I hurt the rock, before Cam got the shit to pop, the doors closed. I felt like bad boy street team, I couldn't work the locks. Now let's go, take them back to the plan. Me and my mama hopped in that U-Haul van. Any pessimists, I ain't talk to them, plus I ain't had no phone in my apartment.